Hello. It's always such a weird transition for me because I'm like, we're going live and we're live. But we are. Um,
That's showbiz.
it's showbiz, baby. Um, all right. So, hello. Here we are. In just a minute, we'll do a little recap and get stress levels and also level up. Let you guys know the advances that the players took as well as me because I haven't been fully reading those, so it would be really helpful for me too. And hear about, I think that's it. Recap, stress level. Oh, Kelvy's thing, and roll for Kelvy. I don't know, what do we want to roll for Bug?
Mhm.
And get advances settled. And then before we start, we know we were just talking about and wanted to note that there has been some progress made in some areas of Breonna Taylor's uh, family seeking justice for her murder. So, but we still don't have arrests against the people who murdered her. And there has been promises of police reform, things like that. And I think more than ever, it's important to keep pressure because things are moving slowly. And the more that we keep pressure, the more likely we are to see actual change, including things like arresting these people who murdered someone. And yeah, so use the command exclamation point BLM command exclamation point donation for more in the chat. And also helpful goat stuff. Check us out tomorrow playing tier.
Yes.
Check us out tomorrow
And
playing
and
tier.
something fun and secretive and special might be announced. So yeah.
Ooh, secretive and special. That's exciting. Speaking of secretive and special, the beautiful and talented Miss Ava has been working hard on a composition for us, which we will not reveal tonight, but soon, I hope. And
You could play what I've got if you want on the break or at the end if you want to
Ooh.
give like a preview.
yeah, well, we
Yeah.
should. My dog has decided to sing the song of her people, so sorry.
I love Rika's musical talents.
Yes. So I would love, yeah, if you want us to give a little sneak preview with what you have so far, then sure, maybe after the break. We'll probably also cut off right around 9/11 so that people with scheduling reasons can get themselves to bed or away as needed tonight. So just FYI on that. And let's go ahead and get stress levels. We'll roll for Kelvy's thing, and then we'll do the recap and the discussion of what advances you took. During which time I will munch on my sandwich. So let's hear. I have Kelvy on top, so let's hear it. How much stress you got?
Sure. I have no stress.
Wow! And Tyler, in real life,
No,
make
oh
my
god,
day and say it's same.
we're doing okay in life.
You know, that's sometimes that's all you can ask for.
Yep.
What is our viscount up to?
+4, unfortunately.
Ooh.
It's rolling. That's gonna be a. You wanna go ahead and roll your d10, and I will pull up
Four.
the. There's no time like the present to turn more into a bug.
Yep. That's a 1.
That's a 1. Let's see here.
Is that good? I can't remember.
Oh, it's
It's a
bone
different
Bone
spurs.
spurs. How nice. Do you want to read it?
Oh no.
Yeah,
Oh,
with
so
a gesture,
this means
can
you get to
summon-
evade the draft, right?
Terrible, Sam.
Well, in addition to that, with a gesture, you summon a D3 weapons to your hands that are formed of your own bone, made hard and sharp. If you spend 1 stress to blood, these are D6 weapons instead.
That's really good,
So that's
except you're also
really
now
good.
over 50% bug.
Oh my
I-
Well,
goodness
that's
gracious.
not exactly true, but
am
In terms of, you have 5 out of 9 of the advances on the Vis advancement chart.
Yep.
Wow.
So that's
Mm.
it's gotta affect things a little bit. Question just on how this would work. Are they retractable or
Yes,
like once
so-
they're out, they're out?
I think they're retractable because it says you can summon them. So
Okay, great.
I feel like
Imagine
it's
they're,
kind of a
little
Wolverine
spines.
style, like
Oh,
you don't have to
Double
walk around.
check.
You're like
little spines that
Assassin's
pop
Creed,
out.
like you flick it out and
Yeah. You have to make clicking
Good.
sounds too when you do it. You're like a bug.
I'm not a bug yet. Just,
Do you
just-
have a bug name
yeah.
picked out?
Oh, we should do that. No, okay. Also, Kelvy, would you inform me and anyone who might be listening at home what advance you took?
Sure. So I took for my low advance, I took Our Lady's Grace, which is one of the minister advances. And that one is you give more of yourself to our hidden mistress in exchange for her protection after you take stress. But before the GM rolls for Fallout, you may elect to take an additional D3 stress. If you do, the GM does not roll for Fallout, and you escape repercussions for now.
Oh my god, you're just like putting it off and putting it off.
Yep. And my high advance came from my Inksmith background. It is called Narrative Convenience. The hero never gets arrested, and if they do, they meant for it to happen. Once per session, when you or an ally suffers shadow, reputation, or silver fallout, invert it. It becomes a boon rather than a problem. The paladins raid your rival's base rather than yours. Instead of selling your allegiance to a different organization, you've got them to unwittingly fund the ministry. The police officer investigating you gets arrested on suspicion of the crimes that you yourself carried out.
Damn.
Yeah.
High advances, man, they're so good. I look forward to hearing all the rest of them. But yeah, the high advances in this game are really something. So, all right, Hennis, you are next on my little stack. How much stress you got?
Got 1 stress.
Okay. And what advances did you take? Since just so everyone knows, I awarded a low advance and a high advance, right? That was the 2 that I gave. The high advance, of course, being for Faisal calling off the destruction of the property, and the low advance for something that I had a perfectly good reason for at the time.
blackmailing. Was it the blackmailing?
The blackmailing was all kind of caught up in the same.
It was we got one for the connecting the carrion priests and the
Yes, the
midwives.
Here we
carrion
go.
priests and the midwives. Thank you. Okay. So anyway, sorry, Hennis, please continue. What is your high advance?
My high advance is God of Slaughter, which is divine, and I gain mastery in the fight skill. And also, if I inflict blood stress with my blade on a mortal target, I kill them. So as long as you can die, you do.
Christ.
Well, I'm not
So
stressing
insane.
mortal.
Now, is this something that, like, can you not use that? Can you, like, just inflict blood stress? Or is it like, oh, you have no choice, I've poked you, you're dead?
Mm-hmm.
Oh God.
I'm very good at killing, and the thing is, Hennis doesn't actually do it that much. He tends to stay out of fights. So I thought it was a perfect choice for him.
What about when you were fighting for Lady Elliot? Well, are you doing that anymore? Who's to say? Can you imagine, like, you just start, like, killing everybody and everyone's like, retire that one. Okay, got it. That was your high advance. Did you also take a low or something else?
I have not decided on the low yet.
Okay. And remember, I told everyone this after the fact last time too, but one of the things the rulebook says is that instead of taking a low advance, you can choose to take become skilled in one of the main skills. So for example, if you don't have compel, you could take compel. So some people I think may have chosen to do that.
but not the domains, just the skills.
I think just the skills. I can look up the rule
Okay.
while I hear
Well,
from.
To my understanding, domains are something that you get from like your durance and stuff, and so like that has to be something that you've literally like gone out of your way and trained for to get a domain.
Okay.
But you can also, if you take, if you gain a skill or domain a second time, you get a knack in that skill or domain. So you could, in theory, take like if you already have
Oh, right.
deceive, you can take a knack in deceive, which is like something specific within deceive that you tend to do a lot that gives you mastery over that particular skill within. Or like if it's compel and you intimidate people a lot, you can take a knack for intimidation, right? And you can kind of build knacks narratively. So you also have the choice of like, oh, I do this one thing a lot, so now I have a knack in this kind of more like in this piece of the pie that is covered by this skill. So that's something.
Do knacks also apply to domains?
They do. So for the examples in the book are if you have a knack in low society, for example, it could be like if you're interacting with workers or if you're blending in or if you're defending the people, right? So like you can kind of choose some sort of like particular action you might be doing or people or group that you might encounter within that domain that you have a particular knack with. And again, that grants you an extra D10 as mastery. But mastery D10s don't stack, so if you'd have mastery from something else, you can't just keep infinitely stacking them. I think the max you can ever get is 4.
Mm-hmm. So I have chosen my low advance now.
Cool.
I realized the two I was going between. One was that I could increase my weapon dice size by 1. But if I kill them, I don't need to increase the weapon dice size. So we're going to go with the Secret of Flight, which is very amusing to me because my blade gains the following tags: ranged, piercing, and reload. When you reload, you go and pick up your blade. It says that.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so that's what I'm getting.
Thank you. Minrai.
So now you can kill really effectively from a distance.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So I have a stress of 0 still. By the way, can people on the stream hear me okay now? I know that earlier they said they couldn't hear me because I was a little quiet. Okay.
I would say just keep talking and then we'll see if
Yeah,
there's
we'll
a
just keep
response.
going. Okay, cool. So for my, instead of a low advance, I took the resist skill. I think Minrai is kind of at the point where she's worried that things will come to a point where she'll have to fight to like protect people, especially with the ghouls and with the fact that she's like, even if it's like a mental fight with having to seal the cracks or things like that. So she thinks resist is kind of going to be her thing. And also she's like, it's a little bit of like her, but she's good at fighting. She likes doing it. She's strong at it. She has the fight skill already. So for her high advance, she took something that's called No Magic But the Magic of My Mistress, which is an occult spell, which says the spells of inferior casters and gods, because fuck them, they're lame, are caught in your web like flies. Roll fight plus occult to cast the spell. On a success, any effects that originate from a magical source, be that occult or divine, are suppressed while you are nearby until the end of the current situation. Minor magical effects are completely undone and you become immune to all magical attacks. This will require some creative interpretations from the GM to resolve. So I'm based like an anti-magic. So the idea
That's really
is like
cool.
if somebody like very powerful or magically driven tries to like throw down, she can basically just like crack her knuckles and be like, it's whaling time, and like start beating him up and giving him a lesson from good old Mama Minrai.
Beautiful. Very exciting to see how that.
I also gained. Oh no, I didn't gain +1 blood. Never mind. Sorry, that was for something else. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you, Ava. Rachel, Barnabas is up next on my list.
Me. I've got 1 stress. And it is in something.
Mind, I think, is what I have it marked as.
Yup. And so I decided for my low advance to take a skill. So I'm taking Compel, because I keep trying to be intimidating and it doesn't work. And then Elise is letting me retcon because I didn't know you could take a skill instead of taking a low advance, and I didn't really like my low advances. I'm getting rid of Murder of Crows because I've never used it and I don't foresee needing to use it right now. And so I wanted to ask people's opinions of I'm either thinking investigate or fight, because strangely enough, I don't have fight. And I feel like I should as a cannibal with a war cleaver. But I also investigate a lot and look at things a lot. And so I just wasn't sure. We haven't fought a lot. We fought once, and I don't know if we'll fight again. But I feel like if we... So what are your thoughts?
I think it makes sense for you not to have fight because you're old, and 2, you're like chill. So like I think investigate fits your like streetwise like.
I've
never
done
been
more
a-
investigating and always been like,
Yeah.
no, I don't have it. Okay, so I'll take investigate. That
I
works
think
for
it
me.
fits your
Yeah.
character.
I would also say, like, as far as your like cannibalistic habits come into play, like you tend to be more of a scavenger than a predator.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and speaking
Good
of,
plan.
my amazing high advance is called Blood Hunt, and it's divine. So it's hard because there was one where I could actually fuse with Sweet Pea and we could become one giant cannibal / hyena creature, which seemed awesome. I
Well, then this
know.
one
You
better
could
be
have been
amazing.
called Sweetness.
Or Barnaby. God, that was terrible. So this one is called Blood Hunt, and it's divine, and it says, once you've tasted blood, you are all but impossible to stop. To activate this power, taste a target's blood and mark D6 stress to blood. Until you sleep or until they die, you may step out from the shadows nearby to them whenever you desire. They can protect themselves, give or take, by eliminating all nearby shadows, which is pretty hard to do in Spire because there's not a whole lot of like lights and things. So basically, if I taste somebody's blood until they die or I pass out for because I need to sleep, I can literally step out of any shadow and just fucking be like, "Hey, bitch!"
I foresee a lot of conversations going like this. Hey, Hennis, can I just
Taste your
break
blood
your
real quick.
finger?
Oh, that might actually be useful if he goes somewhere and is going to be interacting with somebody shitty. I could lick his blood from his fingers. That's a normal sentence to say. And because he can prick himself without murdering himself, right?
Well, you could.
Oh,
I'll prick
can
his
I prick
finger.
my finger soft enough not to do blood stress? Because then we're good.
Yeah. And we'll have to be careful too with like.
Right. I just
Henna's-
need to taste the blood. That's all it says.
Yeah, taste the blood. I mean, this is wonderful, and I think that you should. Now, I have a question for a lot of your high advances. I haven't heard like once per game or once per situation. Are these things so far?
Nope, just
infinitely available to you.
Yep, it's divine,
Awesome.
but that's
and it doesn't say that I can't do it more than once, so I could just be awake and taste a fuck ton of blood. I take D6 stress to blood when I do it, but I could
Also,
just like have a little like a little bit of blood over here, a little bit. I just really like the fact that they could literally go all the way up Spire, be like hours away from me, and then I could just step out of their bathroom shadows and just be like, "Surprise, motherfucker!" Oh, I'm so excited for this.
Yeah,
taste
and
all the blood.
you could also combine that with like Minrai casting whispers, and then we could all be at different parts, and then if anyone, as like the example
like,
of Hennis, needed aid,
which blood did I taste that I need to go to right now? I'm hearing whispers that Hedis needs aid, and I'll just show up in the shadows. And then, I'm hearing whispers that Minrai is battling, and I'll just show up in the... I'm just never going to sleep.
Hennis calls for aid, and Barnabas will answer. Okay.
But can Sweet Pea travel with you?
It doesn't say. She's always with me, though.
You know, now you have to get another high advance so you can fuse with her, just travel with her.
So once I fuse with Sweet Pea and do that, then it'll all be fine.
All
No,
right.
that's even more terrifying. The fusion of Barnabas and Sweet Pea coming out of the shadows.
No kidding.
Unless they have to do the DBZ fusion ha thing,
We
which
just
would be
do
really
it.
cute. It'd be really cute.
Watching a dog do that would be perfect.
All right. Thank you, Rachel. Sam,
Yeah.
Rick's stress. I have a lot. Do you have a lot?
It's at 4.
Okay, because you were able to mark...
I was at 6, but then I should never have been at 6.
Well, okay. But you have 4, and it's 3 to mind and 1 other?
Yeah, 3 to mind. Where's my stupid roll 20? There you are. 3 to mind, 1 to silver.
Okay. And what advances did you take?
So, much like Rachel, I took compel instead of a low advance, and I took that because of the high advance that I took. I took the only high advance that is available on the Ministry's tree, and it's called Rite of Conversion. And I realize now that like half of my abilities start with Rite of, so it's
You're a priest.
yeah, I'm a priest. Yep.
Right.
So Rite of Conversion is a divine magic spell. You burn your target's passions to ashes and build faith to the goddess in their place. Having restrained a target, you delve deep into the recesses of their mind and rip their allegiances to shreds, replacing them with a slavish devotion to our hidden mistress. At the end of this rite, the subject loves and will gladly die for the goddess. It is considered good practice. Hold on, I skipped ahead by accident. It is considered good practice for magisters to have this rite cast upon them once a year. Unlike other divine spells, this requires a roll of compel plus religion to cast. And even if I succeed, I must mark D6 stress minimum after casting it. The subject also takes D6 stress to mind. The downsides of this are that after having cast it, I have no intrinsic means of telling whether or not the spell has worked, and I must subject the target to further tests to ensure their loyalty. And I had a couple of thoughts as to how that could come into play in the near future.
Yeah, we might want to have me privately roll your, so that you don't know if it succeeds. Like privately roll your divine spell casting thing, because you'll take stress no matter what because it demands it. So you won't know based on whether or not I roll stress for you. So I could certainly do that. We can, I mean, like, I suppose it's possible to, like, I think that this might be something worth having me roll for you privately so that you, like, because of, like, I think it will change how, it would change how I would play, right? Why do people keep dropping video?
What
Is this
happened?
happening?
I just got kicked randomly. I don't know.
I don't know. I think maybe Discord forced an update or something.
Mm.
And it's like updating the call. I don't really know what's happening.
So Sam is totally gone.
My
and
Discord does say that it needs to be updated, so I wonder if it's mine too, because...
Well, no, it's happening for me too.
Yeah, but
just
since
forced
it's...
an update.
Since,
Hey, yeah, I had
No, because you don't
really-
host like in Zoom.
yeah, no,
I had a
do too.
really funky, like the thing happened where it was like repeating again and again and again. And this time,
Oh, was
this
it
time it was
like the
Elise
time I said,
saying,
"Fuck
roll
it"?
for you.
Yeah.
Nice.
So sorry about that.
I
You were
just, like,
saying
fuck
have
it.
you roll for me, and then it cut out.
Yeah, just as like so that like you don't have to try to avoid the metagaming of like knowing that it did or didn't work. Because I think this is one that it might be worth it. Like overall, I trust you guys not to like metagame, but this one, I feel like the actual nagging doubt that Sam the player would have not knowing the role could be a useful role playing tool for Ulrich, right? So if you're cool
Sure.
with that, like I could roll those He's gone again. No. Okay.
No. I'm here.
here?
That was just
Yeah.
me turning off my video real
Okay,
fast
okay,
because
okay.
it was lagging.
No, you're good. Then I could, as long as you're cool with that, because I don't want to like force anybody to take private roles, but I could roll them.
For sure. Yeah, that's good. I mean, if you want to roll it such that the audience can see and I can't, yeah.
I can roll privately on Roll20, and it will show up on stream, but then that would just be up to the rest of you not to be looking at the stream, because I would like it at least for that role or whatever. Yeah. So, but yeah, that would be fine with me. Okay. Any other business? Oh, let's do a quick recap. What happened last session, and then we will jump in.
So there's goats.
So I believe things started with Hennis, right? And then
No, it
pivoted
was
to me.
I think it was you. Rick goes
Yeah.
to Herald
Oh, so-
Corporation, finds
Okay,
a bunch
it
of
did
dead drow.
Mhm.
Is what I wrote. You can write that because it was very like hard for you, and I didn't write all the hard stuff that you
Yeah,
experienced.
I didn't write any of it, but I do have a very strong recollection of everything that happened. So I, following me giving my blessing to the people in the streets of the garden, I found
People
my
in the
way to the Herald Corporation, where I found a whole bunch of dead drow, like somewhere around 20. And I at that point did not see Kelvy, which was my biggest concern, but I wasn't really able to glean anything too useful off of the dead bodies. But I was able to kind of collect myself, and after just kind of scoping out the place, I went unnoticed, left, and headed to Harmonious Properties, where I ran into let's say a disheveled Kelvy, to say the least. And we had a bit of a conversation as to like what next steps should be, because we were both kind of in a bit of a tizzy, and I was just very, very, very glad that Kelvy was still alive and was not one of those bodies, and wasn't like captured or anything, which were like my biggest concerns, having been dealt with some pretty shitty hands at the face of the high elves before. And eventually we decided that the best moves would be for us to kind of reconvene with everyone, because I was opposed to Kelvy going at it alone, but Kelvy wanted to go at it alone, and meet with Fuckwad, and then yeah, and then we just started heading back, and I guess that was kind of the end of our situation, mostly.
Mm-hmm.
I love the evolution of his name. Faisal, Farquad, Fuckwad.
I still have it messed up. I remember my promise to you that if I ever accidentally slipped and called him by one of your nicknames, that it would become canon, and I have not yet done it.
You haven't. It's true.
Damn it.
There's still time.
You're too good.
Yeah.
Rachel's right.
Amongst
What else happened?
Hennis, you're next.
Then I was going up Spire, and I got a really bad headache again. And then that kind of, I took Fallout, and that headache kind of coalesced into the voice of a high elf woman chanting occult stuff, which I recognized this voice as one of Lady Hellion's esteemed attendants that I recognized but really had not interacted with, and passed out in the middle of the Vermissian. And my Gutterkin guide was like, I'm out of here. That was weird.
Because you did beat your head against a wall until you went unconscious.
Yes, I refused to put the Gutterkin in danger.
I
put
believe you
myself in
also
danger
took
instead.
2 fallout in a row in that sequence.
Yes,
You took
because
a
Oh,
lot of
hitting my head
right.
against the wall was Fallout.
Yeah.
and
Also, speaking of Gutterkin, we did play Trashkin this week in
Yeah.
Burden, and it was so fun, and we should absolutely do that in the Spire
We
thing because
should.
it was very fun.
Yes. And Hennis, there was something else that happened for you as well. Not only did you place this person as one of Lady Hellion's kind of entourage.
But shortly after, I was found by Rick and Kelvy, and as I was coming to, I kind of remembered in that way that you remembered dreams, that memories of my own, as though someone may have been going through them while I was unconscious, mayhaps.
Yes.
Mm.
Nice. Then we went up Spire to the top of Spire to New
So we
Haven.
were already there because we were already in it.
And my notes say goats are integrating. Kelvy is permanently weird. Carrion Priest has a goat butler / bartender.
I think that was from the week before last.
Well, that's what's in my notes for last
Oh,
week.
sorry. I mean, yes, all of that.
And
But
it
you
also
did a
says
really good
that
job of
I made dolls on the way down.
you did a really good job of convincing the head Carrion priest that we need to strengthen our bonds with the midwives.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and that's why I was working really hard on trying to convince them to do research on the Vis blood that I brought to try and cure it. And they gave me an amulet that does something that I wrote down in my thing up there that I don't have up right now. And said we made a promise that if I could keep bringing them a regular supply of Vis blood, which I'll get somehow, then they'll do research to try and find a cure. And part of the reason why it went pretty well is because you also convinced them of the need for us all to work together and such.
I mean, you've got Kelvy, and Kelvy's not giving blood to the clutch.
Yeah, Kelvin won't mind if I
So-
just. Well, I mean, I don't know if I can pierce his. I guess he doesn't have chitinous skin yet, does he?
He does have bone spurs.
He does have bone spurs now.
I got bone spurs, but I don't have bone bug armor yet. That's a different one. So,
That's
yeah.
something that Neza did have, though. They had it, and it was real weird. Real weird.
I also don't have the weird clicking thing going on yet.
Oh god, yeah. When they did that,
Yeah.
it was.
You had to
It
call
was
it
hard.
clicking.
Things to look
Now
forward to.
everyone who's played The Last of Us is just like, ugh.
Oh.
Oh yeah, with the clickers.
Clickers. All right. Okay. Finally, an hour in. Well, an hour after we said we were going to start ish. Let's start. We're professionals. All right. So we are gathering everybody because you all had boarded the Sky Whale along with who?
The people.
Oh yeah.
That there was like new. I don't know why I didn't fucking. I took terrible notes last time.
Was it Sue?
It was one or two people, or maybe more. Maybe it was like 3 people, and they were like young, newish priests, and we were bringing them down with us into Spire to kind of, or into Derelictus, so they could.
They were coming
Kinda.
to like survey the area and talk with the midwives a little bit.
And some goats. Some goats came
And
with
they
them.
brought-
Oh, they tried,
brought
but we scared them away.
Scared them away by
'cause I
saying
said
you'd
we
eat them.
do eat goats.
Yes, and it was Susan who had grown up
Yeah.
as a Carrion priest, and 4, I believe I said, of her peers coming down to as kind of an advance guard to look into what's going on in Grist, specifically. Although they were told a little bit about also working with Minrai. So just as a note.
And
so,
I do have a doll of Susan, so I can
That's right.
force her to interact with people if we want.
Minrai made some dolls. Okay, so you made your way down to Derelictus, and Susan and her group, you point them in the direction of Grist, and they begin making their way over, looking a little overwhelmed, it being their first time out of New Heaven. and on their way somewhere else, and or at least Susan's. And they take their leave to head towards Grist, and you all make your way back to the apartment.
Bye, Susan.
See ya, and her hyena like does a little lap back to Sweet Pea, and just like they like.
What's
do
her
a little-
hyena's name? Sorry, Elise.
Her hyena's name is Rachel. Rachel does a little tussle with Sweet Pea and takes off after
Yes, she
Susan.
does.
Why? Okay, takes off after back with Susan and the others, and you all make your way home. And for the first time in a long time, I don't know why Minrai is covered in. I forgot my mouse is double clicking all the time now. For the first time in a long time, you are all gathered in your apartment 307, where it all
Oh, it's because I was supposed to be
Neza for
Neza, who was like going through some shit at the time.
yes.
I'll undo all those status effects.
One
Okay.
thing that I wanted to mention that I forgot to in the recap was that I delivered a message to the ministry about all of the dead drow and about like Faisal, like kind of informing them on him and like our sort of tentative plans to neutralize that threat.
Right.
Yeah, great. And it is it's definitely evening. This is past evening meal time, pushing towards bedtime now that you all finally gather back at the apartment, and the whole crew is there. What would you do?
I brush my teeth.
Oh no. No.
Well, I would catch them up on what happened to me and the fact that we've probably been found out by some people.
By a human that we don't know it's a human,
You don't
right?
know that yet.
So I wouldn't say that.
God.
What do you mean found out? How much found out?
That is a wonderful question that I hope we never find the answer to. For that would mean we were too close with the people who found out.
So we're gonna kind of just hope that the problem goes away on its own.
I do not believe that it will, but I think that rather than assuming the best, we should assume the worst.
Do I recognize what you talked about as like an occult kind of like mind spell thing? Would it be something that's like ongoing, like she can do that whenever, or is it kind of like an attack kind of deal?
We don't think so. Rick and I talked about it, and he didn't think so.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean, would Minrai, as someone who has a domain in occult?
I mean, I
recognize
asked
it?
the same thing last session without knowing the
Oh, you did?
chanting.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And Hennis was not equipped at the time due to being in extreme distress and also not proficient in occult. Was not equipped at the time to try to take notes on it or otherwise memorize what was happening. Just enough familiarity that he knew it was some kind of occult chanting.
Barnabas would go to Kelvy and kind of check him over and see if he seems like Neza seemed. Does Kelvy tell Barnabas that Neza died?
Yeah. Well, actually, Kelvy, while he's waiting for everyone to come back, actually just types up a little summary of everything because it's just he doesn't want to keep having to repeat it, so he just gives you a piece of paper.
It's like in a
And you
full
can read it
news. It's like in an old-timey newspaper style because you can't help yourself, even though it's like tragic.
Even just says so.
Yeah,
Barnabas like hated Neza when he first met them, and now like felt such sorrow for them and tried to care for them so much, and now they're just fucking dead. And
That death was
Yep.
like brutal.
yeah, no, Barnabas is gonna like crumple the paper in his hands, and you're gonna just see like nails digging into the palm of his skin and like blood. Like he's real fucking mad.
I think I'd notice and definitely be like, "Let me see what you're holding."
Also, I would have definitely taken the time at this point to well, I'll just do it my character voice then, if I can find it. Where is it? There it is. Okay. All right.
There it is.
Yeah. So along with this note, I happened across about 20 fallen drow back at the Herald Corporation. It seems Faisal really wanted a bit of a bloodbath.
No, that's actually more my fault. I told him to I told him to deal with Marilee, and well, he dealt with Marilee, and then he dealt with the rest of the building. It seems so. Yeah, that one's on.
That's not your fault. That's him taking it too far.
Were they Viz?
On the bright side, I think I think I'm the head of the Herald Corporation now, so that might be a thing.
That may
Does-
prove
How
you-
are you,
Does
Kelvy?
the
How do
Herald
you
Corporation
feel?
really exist?
And I'm gonna touch Kelvy's arm, and just kind of like squeeze it a
Don't
little.
lick it.
See
Don't
if
lick
it's
it.
hard.
It's-
That's usually
so-
how I investigate things, is by licking them. Well, actually, I wouldn't put that past Barnabas, so that shouldn't be said. I'm gonna like. Do I notice any hard skin, or do I hear any weird clickings? I mean, I know I don't. But
No, but you do get that that weird skin vibration thing.
What do you-
and
what do you
just
say
hear
to me?
pain.
Oh,
Just pain.
Aw.
Yeah.
oh man, I would send Sweet Pea up to lick you, but I don't know that that's a bad thing. But
And
maybe
then I
Sweet Pea would
just
be smart enough to not lick
Is
you.
Kelvy
Well-
sweating?
I don't know.
Kelvy's not sweating. Kelvy also has his duster on, so he doesn't have a lot of exposed.
Duster and
skin
George
or-
sounds pretty sweaty.
You know. He does, however, just put his hands up and there's something new, and I pull out my retractable bone claws.
Oh,
Well,
So this is
that is not such a strange thing to us. Do not worry.
That is actually pretty cool.
yeah, I can make them I can make them bigger, but I think that would hurt a little bit. So not gonna do that
No
yet.
pain, no gain.
Just-
Ulrich nudges Barnabas. You're working on that, right?
yes. Speaking of, Kelvy, do you mind if I just take a little bit of your blood?
Yes, I do. Oh wait. Do you want to?
No,
You
it's
want
not
to
for
join
me.
Barnabas?
I don't. I'm
Is it
just
for Sweet Pea?
Kelvy, you almost seem a little
No.
bit too excited about that.
It's not that bad,
but
guys. I mean, like,
Kel-
I'm not gonna force
Kelvy-
you into it. You're walking around with me. Like,
Kelvy, I
I'm a
have
living
my own
embodiment.
god. Like I've got Janelle. I don't think he would be very happy.
I know,
if
but
I
like,
did that.
picture, I'm ascending. Right? And you're like, you got your carrying
I'm
priest stuff.
okay
You
with
could
staying
ascend too.
descended over here. It's fine. I'm happy in Derelictus in the low parts. So I mean, it's just for curiosity.
I don't know. I mean, it's special blood.
It is very special blood.
It may be able,
It's
I
gift
wanna
giving blood,
just
you might
know-
say.
How special?
it may lead to perhaps
Clearly
solving
special.
your suffering.
Said it.
I mean, do you recall?
All right, I won't bug you anymore.
You recall? Get it?
That's low.
You recall how Neza was, right? Perhaps this
Yeah.
is an opportunity to contribute to research that may help people like him, them.
Neza was sick. They had a lot of other stuff going on. They couldn't handle the state of infection that they were in. You know, it's
Well,
got to be.
And you can.
Perhaps it would be better if they were able to
I'm
find
fine.
a
Do I look
cure.
like I'm not doing okay right now?
I mean, you look like you've had a rough night, buddy. Like, I'm not going to lie.
No, it's still the afternoon, I think.
I mean, you look like you've had a rough
We're just getting started with this thing.
a rough week.
Yeah, I mean, keep in mind also, this is the same day that Kelvy saw Neza murdered.
Yes.
Had his showdown with Faisal.
He is not, dude. This
walked
is all
to Harmonious Properties, had a breakdown where Vis dealt a lot of stress to mind and body.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. When you say Kelvy's had a day, like, I know it's been, 3 weeks or 4 weeks for us of this, but Kelvy has had a day.
Yeah.
All of you have, but I feel like maybe
No,
Operating
his
on-
day is the worst, I
on
think.
Permanently
Followed closely by
weird
Rick and
thoughts.
and
Oh
Hennis.
yeah. The permanently weird
Ridiculous.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm up talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that means you have to like convince us that this is good, right? Or not evil and worthwhile.
So there is kind of a compulsion element to it of just like there is something that like kind of drives you to act that is weird. There's also an element to it that like the GM can trigger your weirdness in inopportune moments and be like, right now is when you're feeling especially strongly compelled towards whatever. And so that's just something to keep in mind, that like that's part of the fallout, is that like I can at will kind of say like, now is when that's happening, right? And so you are welcome to roleplay it as you please, but there will be an additional layer of GM triggered moments of
What
permanence.
if, Kelvy, hear me out. What if I my throat hurts from doing this voice.
Why?
It's such an easy voice to do. Oh, God.
Such a natural voice.
What if you just give me a little bit of blood, and then I just can think over whether or not I want to join, like do it in my own time.
It could prevent another Neza.
Maybe I just want to look at it a
I mean,
bit,
as long as you
consider
think
it.
about it. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. As long as you think about it, I'd love to help. Then, yeah.
Can I bring Kelby like his blanket from his bed and like put it on his shoulders and be like, it's going to be okay. The day is almost over.
I mean, really, Kelvy, like, there's so many unknowns here, right? Like, it's possible that with the right knowledge about the Vis, that perhaps more people could be converted to it without all of the more egregious side effects that, let's face it, you've not wanted, and certainly Neza would not have wanted. And
I mean, I think some of it's going on me, but I understand what you're saying.
So I think you're all kind of missing the point about what Barnabas is doing right now, which is not comparing how good or bad things are. I'm just gonna take some blood and think over whether or not I want to be Vis. That's all that I'm doing.
Nobody wants to be this.
Menrai!
Unless you're already this.
This is
Kelby, go to bed. I am going to cook some food.
Barnabas is about to explode. He doesn't often deceive, and he's like really annoyed that everybody is like being genuine right now.
So I'll do this blood thing for you, but then we gotta get a move on, get a plan on, because we gotta handle Faisal. As you read at the bottom of the note, I don't know how far you got, but Mr. Moonlight's gotta meet him. Kelvy was told he's gotta send Mr. Moonlight, or he'll never sleep soundly again. I mean, I wasn't like sleeping soundly that well to begin with, but like I understand the threat.
So who does he think Mr. Moonlight is?
He thinks he's a drow from up north.
Drow guy.
No, an Elfir.
Oh, right. Sorry, I said drow. Elfir, yeah. Yeah.
Die sometimes.
Well, the idea was to go and basically say, I killed him. Wow.
Oh, that
Welcome.
is not a great plan, friend. That
What
will
makes
not-
you think he's gonna believe
well-
you?
Well, hold on. Hard gamble here, right? But so I go as Mr. Moonlight. I walk in. I asked to speak to him privately. We're alone, and then I take the mask off after like talking as Mr. Moonlight for a bit, and he's like, you fucked me over with the drow kid, and then I take the mask off. It's like, it's Kelvy. I killed him. Not only did I kill him, but I fooled you that I was him, meaning that I could be useful to you later as Mr. Moonlight, because nobody knows that Moonlight is dead, and I have his voice.
I think you are digging yourself a hole, friend.
Perhaps it would be better if we just killed Faisal.
I do not know how possible that is. Although I
Well,
do like
I
the
think
idea.
that
Just
if
let me
I were
taste
to
his
get in
blood
the
just
same
a
room
little.
as him, if I were to get in the same room as him, and perhaps if I were to say that I had killed Mr. Moonlight on behalf of the person that you insist on saying has it out for Faisal, that I am already associated with, perhaps it might give some reason for any of this to happen.
It would be good.
Yeah.
So
I have
So you
always
kill
wanted to kill
Moonlight.
Eve.
Or are you saying you kill Faisal? You want to straight up kill Faisal?
That is preferred, yes.
what I think might perhaps work towards the ministry's favor would, yes, in fact, be the demise of Farquaad. However, I think there's a way that we could perhaps spin that even more in to the service of our hidden mistress. If we were able to get in proximity with Faisal and restrain him, I have a as yet untested ability to convert him, regardless of whether or not he wants to, into a completely obedient servant of our Lord, of our Lady, of our hidden mistress. Got it right the third time. And my thoughts are he is far too compulsive and just completely off the wall insane to really be much of a useful pawn to the ministry. But if we could kind of squeeze him for all he's worth and then effectively have the ministry tell him that it's in our hidden mistress's best interests that he off himself, then two birds, one stone. We've used the powers of the Elfir as best we can while we have them with a person that's kind of a recluse. And we're done with Faisal. I don't know. Feels like the best case scenario to me.
I do believe that everybody here is taking the high elves just a little bit too lightly. The amount of scrutiny that it would draw if we were to kill a high elf or even to capture them so that we could run experiments on them. This spell that you're talking about, we have to torture and prove that it has worked. Otherwise, he may just immediately come after us.
Is that different than what we are currently in, though?
Well, at the moment, we could literally just say Moonlight was killed, goodbye. We are done.
What if, hear me out, we get a body. Hennis takes that body to Faisal. Kelvy hired Hennis to kill Moonlight, and it's a gift.
I like this idea. Question: the Hanging Gardens. How disfigured do you think the corpses are, and do you think that there are any Elfir there?
No, it doesn't have to be an Elfir. I mean, it could be a Drow. Like, it's super, not legal, but Drow can wear an Elfir's, garb, and that would make it even more shameful. Regardless, Hennis would have the true mask of Moonlight to give, and
Wait, I don't think that I want to be up Spire if it is an up Spire that contains both Lord Freisel and Lady Helgen. If
Lord
I
Faisal
go up
doesn't
there,
know that we did anything, right? Or
well, someone
would
does.
you like
according to
me
what happened to me today.
fair.
to get him down Spire?
That would be easier for me to get out of, but it sounds like it would be harder for you to make happen.
I can probably make it happen.
Minrai can probably make it happen.
Make what happen? I was thinking
Oh, to make Faisal,
Oh,
to make
hmm.
Faisal
to make
what?
Faisal
Yeah.
show up in Derelictus.
Oh,
They can interact
definitely.
with
That is
someone.
that is well within my grasp of skill set.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, let's stage a murder.
I have a concern. Lord Faisal, per your telling of this story, has just murdered about, let's say, 20 drow in a building, yes?
Yeah.
And I assume that he either he did this alone and that is terrifying, or he maybe had a little bit of help, like a personal army or something.
He had a couple guards with him. Yeah.
Okay, and let us say that perhaps they show up here with like a little militia, like a whole like a just time to murder. I cannot
Well, if
control
you
the
Remember,
reason that
remember,
he is
remember. I
leading.
have the right of silver. I can make it so only people that I want can pass through a door.
Well, that is not foolproof, but yes, that is true.
How much of what we
Rick.
does foolproof?
That is my concern.
Rick, one thing that we're gonna have to figure out is you were masked actually when we were with you,
Yes.
but you did speak.
No,
So maybe be quiet if he's there and you're there in the same room.
That is good point.
Just
Right.
making sure we cover all our bases.
I have another thing too, that if we are drawing him down Spire, we should make sure that it is a place that has no connection to us, no connection to this apartment.
If you just let me taste a little bit of his blood, I can find him anytime, anywhere.
Okay, yes, but
if things go poorly,
okay, yes,
and he leaves,
if I do get my
wanna
knife,
maybe off him.
If I get my knife inside of him, I will take the chance to perhaps give you some of his blood. I have an idea.
I would just say it sounds like what we have are the makings of kind of simultaneous plans that we can all like treat as plan A, B, and C, as a means of assurance. Like if this plan works or doesn't work, we have multiple options of reassurances here. Like, with perhaps not so much with me converting him to the purposes of our hidden mistress, but with Hennis being able to straight up eviscerate him should the need arise, we would have the means to make that happen too, if he is here in somewhere in Derelictus with us.
Here's my point. We don't really want him to die in Derelictus. I feel like that might
Yeah,
be
that-
bad. So that's why I was saying
Right.
maybe if I could taste a little bit of that good red stuff, that I could just go get him when he's up there, and it'll be a mystery. I mean, I'll have to figure out how to get back down Spire, because I don't think that I can just zap back to another shadow. Like, I'd have to just walk, but, I just don't think coming
Is there a
down
reason
here.
you can't just zap back to another shadow?
I would have to. It has to be a shadow near somebody whose blood I tasted. So I
can't
can
you just
taste somebody's
any
blood
of our
down.
We all have
I
blood,
could,
yeah.
but I also take D6 stress when I do it. So I have to make sure that
It's
know,
okay if you
I could.
teleport to
Faisal could
me.
kill me.
I'm
He's
just
a
confused.
crazy
Tell me
fighter.
something.
So
Well, one,
What's
if you
the stress
teleport
do?
to me, I can reduce the fallout. But also, yeah, I don't think you can 1v1 Faisal.
Yeah.
or can
I don't think you can.
Ah,
I?
He's got like magic items
Mm.
out the wazoo.
I've got a hyena.
You can't
Is
take your
there
hyena
a-
through the shadows.
Wait, no, that sounds terrible.
is there a hotel in Derelictus?
No. Nope, this is not the kind of place.
That's
Yeah,
okay.
this is. I mean, people
Yeah.
really they stay
There's
with like
one
family.
Motel 8.
They sleep on the streets.
Mhm.
They, nobody
If you
visits
were to arrange a
Derelictus.
meeting with someone, it would probably be at Civilization then.
Civilization, or depending on your means, like people with less means, for example, would probably meet in the market, or but yeah, if you wanted to like set up somewhere that has like a private room or whatever, hard to do
Yeah,
in
that's-
Derelictus.
okay.
Space is hard to find.
Would so two things. Would the ministry have anything like a safe house that we could utilize, / would any of my priestly brotherhood have like a place where I could enclose space where we could do this?
Yeah, so both are much more likely to yield something. So a safe house, you think it's probably pretty likely, with the location of which you would have to go about finding. Priests, there are definitely temples. Temples have sick rooms. They have, right? They like it's not a lot in Derelictus. These are small, hard to keep temples where space is so hard to have, but you would say that there's certainly rooms in temples that are from time to time empty, or used just by the priests, and could be kind of cleared quickly for someone to have space there. So you would perhaps be able to get someone there. You do know that Civilization has those kinds of back rooms and things where you can probably ask, and if you have the right means of money, you can probably rent space there. Other than that, I think it's not much in terms of like, I mean, obviously there are bars and places to kind of for people to gather, but
I mean, we're definitely looking for something private. So everyone, like, I think as far as private enclosed spaces go, and we could certainly check to see what the ministry's got available. And I know for a fact that a few of my Lijan temples have rooms that we could repurpose, putting it lightly. But unless you guys have a better idea, maybe we should.
But going back to Minrai's idea, that is still in Derelictus, yes?
Yes, yeah, all of this would still be in Derelictus.
just to point out, you do have
Mm,
harmonious properties in the gardens, as basically a place that only
That's- yeah,
you have. Oh, I'm sorry.
But Hennis does not want to be going up Spire, right?
Well, I specifically meant Amaranthine.
To Amaranth. Okay.
Yes,
sorry, I
definitely.
didn't. I mean, then harmonious properties would work feasibly.
Yeah, it's probably our better bet because the worry with those two locations in particular is if we're going to be staging, oh look, a dead guy. Why would Kelvy have met Moonlight in a temple or a safe house, which might get traced back to the Ministry?
We have an
And there are already dead bodies in.
That's fair. I can handle the dead body. We'll handle that when we get there. Yeah. So we should probably get going.
I mean, I could also handle the dead body.
We
I
still,
want it to be
Barnabas,
fresh.
we still need a dead body.
Fine.
We should perhaps do this tomorrow, correct?
Nope, we should do it tonight.
Nope.
Would be
Tonight.
expedient.
Okay, well that is quite all right. Well, we've all tried. Okay, let's do it tonight.
Hey, it's
Great
like the
idea.
afternoon. We got time.
Kelvy, you look
Just
fucking terrible.
Kelby
I'm
has
fine.
not slept in.
Kelby
48 hours
is yeah.
now?
He hasn't slept in going on 36 hours. Yeah.
And the rest of you got 3 to 4 hours of sleep last night. Remember, it was like that super late night that you barely got in, fell asleep, and then had to be up first thing to travel up Spire.
I'm going to take a deep sip of my tea or whatever I'm drinking. I'm going to place it on the table, and I'm going to say, if there is one thing that I have learned, it is that when you have a large task ahead of you, you should be well rested. So I am sure that Lord Faisal has had a long day himself. Let us take the moment to rest, and I will burn the effigy to connect us tomorrow as we travel.
Okay.
Go to bed. Go
I-
right now.
I don't really want to sleep though. Like that.
Perhaps I can help.
Oh,
us
because if
instead.
you sleep, you'll have terrible dreams.
That is unfortunate.
I think that Kelby wants the dreams a little bit at this point. To feel
He
connected,
does. Okay.
to feel connected to Mother Viz.
The only worry. Yeah. Okay. The only reason why it was like he might not was because of the bodies that he dropped. Second hand.
I think that it's less logical and more of a compulsion.
That makes sense.
Why don't we like take a hour power nap? How does that sound, everybody?
That does
I'd
not
really
sound
love
like
to
a
sleep.
full night's rest.
We
Alright?
should get like actual
You
sleep.
not
We're
like
gonna
to sleep?
be doing some stuff. We should be ready.
Listen,
Well,
and I say
okay,
do not say this lightly. If we're going to kill a high elf, this needs
They're not gonna kill him.
to
We
okay.
can turn him.
I mean, we can kill him too. I mean, if we're going through all this trouble at this
We
point,
would, but like,
what's the point?
we could.
You could make him this.
No.
Oh.
Oh, you like
Why
that?
would you say that out loud?
Now go to bed.
Minrai,
and
what
have
are
a
you?
nice dreams. Hey, look
We
at
can
this.
go to bed.
Look at
and then-
Kelby. He needs a win.
We can go to bed. Rick can make us pancakes in the morning.
Might already be infected. I mean, I heard he left covered in blood, so
Oh shit.
I can check when we
That-
meet. That'd be
good
nice.
idea. Let us check.
Thanks, Minrai.
No problem.
Smile real
You
creepy
needed the
as I walk.
win today, huh? You
Barnabas
really
looks at you with as big and creepy of a smile that Kelly gives you. Barnabas gives you that big of a frown.
I
Just
look
like-
at Barnabas and I'm like, I give you that look of like, I'm just like talking to a kid kind of deal. Like, obviously, we're gonna murder the shit out of him if we get there. I mean, I am. I'm gonna cut his head off, y'all. If we have him in a room, Minrai's cutting his head off.
All right, so do you go to bed? Is everyone going to bed?
I mean, I think Rick wanted to discuss a little more.
Oh, okay, sorry.
My only thoughts are that, like, having Faisal dead, it would obviously be a great thing. I feel like we would be doing a disservice if we didn't at least try to milk having him in our power for what it's worth first.
I agree, but the right of what is it called? The turning something.
Right of conversion.
The right of
Because like
conversion.
we know that he has so many like magical weapons and artifacts that would probably be very useful as far as filling the cracks might go. Who knows, right?
He is high risk, high reward because it is not always successful. And the only way to tell if it is by torturing and by breaking somebody to the point that you know for sure. Do we know Faisal that well? Do we know if Faisal values anything but his self-image enough to do something like
in
that?
fairness, it's not exactly torture. I just go into their brain and rip it apart. But
Yes.
potato.
Potato.
Um,
I wish I had either in there like this, if I'm being honest. But
I just feel like we have ways that, okay, if he fails a test, we could neutralize the threat immediately.
okay,
We
I have
could-
one test that I could think of, which is greenlighting the publication of that article.
But then he'll turn against. Then everything that we've gained will go to nothing.
We will not publish it, but he needs to think that we will. It would
And
destroy
what
him.
is the
It is the
test
one
again?
thing that he cares about is his own image. That is how you test his loyalty.
Right, because
Or he'll
because,
just
because
kill
if,
us all.
No, because if this works, the only thing he is going to care about in that moment is our hidden mistress. That is his only desire.
But if it doesn't work, you need to keep in mind that it's not a guarantee, and we need to have contingencies.
If it
I don't
doesn't
think
work,
Barnabas has ever said that word before.
if it doesn't work, we have a Hennis.
We do have Hennis, that is true.
We
We
also
have a
have
Hulk.
Me?
but I will say that
We also
Minify-
have me. Wow, rude.
We have all of us. Yes, it is clear, but
that is good because you all will need to restrain him if this is the plan, because I don't know that I will be able to hold myself back if
Elise,
What?
I have Protector's Eye.
Okay.
I can tell what somebody wants to protect most above all else.
Oh my
So
gosh!
if y'all use the right on him, how can you protect his eye and be like,
Synergy! Synergy!
does that work?
I'm air high-fiving you so hard.
Teamwork!
I like Elise was just like, what?
I was listening. My dog was barking at something, and I was like listening to it. And you were like, Elise, and I was like, oh god.
It just clicked.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying.
Just saying.
Isn't there something about using that on ourselves too? The right.
It says that it's good practice to do it when people are initiated.
Well, the magisters do it, which are like above. So you have your little cell, and your little cell has like someone who's in charge of it, and then like above those people are the magisters. So the magisters do this like to each other essentially as like a forced continued of like guaranteed loyalty because they know who each other are. Is the idea?
Mm.
Wait! You're
Sure.
talking about my spell, right?
Yes, the rite of conversion
Okay.
is done within the
Yeah.
ministry to the ministry's highest officials in order to make sure that nobody is about to turn the whole operation in.
Okay.
Oh man.
Yeah. Can we have a pee break? That was exciting.
Yeah, let's.
Yeah.
Okay, you're
She got too excited and she peed.
you're going to bed, and we're taking a pee break. Is that what's happening?
All at once, yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
sure.
we're peeing
Okay.
in our beds.
But,
It is
yes.
very delicious. We have to stay warm somehow.
So, all right, you all head to sleep with this new plan forming, and we will be right back as we manage our fluids In the wise
Music.
words of
Outro.
dearest Andy.
Yes.
I don't have it like queued up in Roll20 or anything, so I'm gonna have to do that
Oh, yeah.
while the screen cover. Okay, so see you in 10 minutes, everybody. Bye.
Yay.
I'm gonna go Yeah.
Hey, here we are, live again.
Lisa's
So
stifling our creativity.
I am. I'm not stifling your creativity. I'm stifling your side conversations. Okay, shall we listen to Ava's composition? It's just a snippet.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
I have it queued up, but if you need me to turn up the volume or anything, tell me.
And this is in Roll20 audio.
It's in the Roll20 audio, so make sure your Roll20 players, your Roll20
Yeah,
audio
yeah,
isn't on like
Oh,
silent.
I don't know if mine's
I
on.
have it on maximum now.
Same.
Okay, well,
Oh,
don't blast
God.
your ears.
Don't get hurt. Yeah.
Are you all good?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Mhm.
I'm good now. Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Oh my God.
Mute your mics, y'all. Yay!
It's just a short snippet of the intro.
It's beautiful.
That's awesome.
You're still muted, some of you.
I
I
wanted.
was unfortunately unable to hear it for some reason, even though my Roll20 audio is on. I think it's because I'm using Safari and not Google Chrome. Can you like send it to me?
I can
Like,
That
post
was
listen to it
it.
later?
beautiful.
I'll post anything.
Okay, cool, awesome.
Yeah, I wanted to capture spooky Spire vibes.
Was that you actually playing the piano as well?
All of that was, hand done by me. Actually, all of it was done on this piano, and then I put it in Ableton, and I used different instruments and effects and stuff to
Cool.
Awesome.
Fuck
produce
yeah.
all those
That was
different
amazing.
sounds,
When the
so
like piano came in, it was beautiful.
thank you. All of it was, none of it was like
Right.
sampled or whatever, which is like my first time kind of doing that.
Ooh.
Here, I'll put it in the Spire Discord.
Yeah, and we were hoping that hoping to have something that you would feel comfortable sharing, right? Ava and I were talking about this when I say we, that we could play kind of to introduce the kind of finale arc of the campaign here. So we will keep you all posted and hopefully be able to also post maybe to Twitter and the Helpful Goat Discord if you feel comfortable, Ava, once we have the composition in place that you want it to be.
Yeah, once I'm done with it.
Yay! Okay.
It
So
should be up.
good. Maybe at the end of the game we'll play it again. And Sam can. I'm sorry that you won't be able to hear it again.
Well, no. I will. I'll swap over to Google Chrome so I can actually hear just Roll20 audio.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We just have about 40 minutes to play, so let's get rolling with the rest of tonight's game. And you all are sleeping. And let's see here.
Y'all, I knew we wouldn't get to sleep peacefully.
Why would you get to sleep peacefully? Actually, most of you sleep peacefully.
Uh-huh.
In fact, all of you sleep
Word here.
peacefully. This is not Kelvy. You do dream, but the dream is not like many of the others you have had of this, or from this. This one, it's peaceful might be too strong a word. But it's not bad in the sense that like you aren't taking damage in your sleep. You aren't being punished. You aren't seeing horrible visions. There is a deep and profound sadness in this dream, though, that I think reflects a lot of Kelvy's feelings. If I may be so bold to assume what Kelvy is feeling after this very hard day. And like there's it's kind of hard to tell where your dream kind of naturally starts and ends, and where Vis's influence kind of starts and ends, because maybe today you would have dreamed of Neza anyway, right? Maybe
Mhm.
Neza's architecture would have occupied your subconscious as you slept tonight anyway, because Neza is on your mind. But it's certainly
Mhm.
there in a way that that light feeling that you had from dreams previous, where it was almost as if seeing the light through the membrane of your egg shell as a baby, as a preborn drow, and but being aware that that's not quite what that was, and that seems to infuse or overlay. It's kind of like both dreams maybe are happening at once, and you see Merrily in your dream too. And this couldn't be your own thoughts, because as you see Merrily, you're seeing how she came to her end. And again, it's not necessarily peaceful, but it's not necessarily bad in the way that it was in the past. Like, you're not taking damage from seeing Neza's bullet wound that you caused, like you did before. But this time,
Right.
Vis's anger seems directed at Merrily, not at you. And the feeling that you get seeing the revenge that you indirectly enacted on Merrily is not one of punishment towards you for the end of Merrily, but of satisfaction that the person who had turned her back first on a fellow Viscount had been dealt with. And that's the sense of the dream. The As you awake in the morning, kind of come to, you are more sure than ever that there is more to be done, and that what stands in your way now is are people who don't understand that. And there's no compulsion to this dream. There's no like thing that you must do to kind of fulfill some sort of command on behalf of Vis. But the permanently weird fallout that you took, the effects of that compulsion that's kind of underlying you in general right now, the vision of Neza's Neza's vision, if from your dreams, now almost overlays your vision, your literal vision. As you walk around, you can see how this building would have looked if Neza had been able to execute their design. And you can feel, or you think you can, the roots down below your feet of the unreality sticking into Spire's heart through the cracks. And it's a sadness. There's a sadness to this feeling, because this dream maybe died with Neza, or maybe it didn't, and that's what you wake up feeling, is maybe it didn't. And I'll let you decide what that means for you. The rest of you, I mean, it's up to you how you think. I mean, I think Hennis probably being not a sound sleeper in general, and having had such a shit day, it wouldn't surprise me if Hennis's dreams were troubled. And the rest of you can kind of decide for yourselves how you all slept. But regardless, you wake up having rested the full night, and it is now morning in Derelictus.
I think that Barnabas also had dreams about Neza, just like sad dreams about them dying and stuff.
We didn't particularly identify that I saw Merrily or Neza's bodies.
No,
right?
Merrily and Neza were both in Merrily's office back in the building somewhere. And therefore you didn't make it that far.
I didn't see them. Yeah. I think it would be useful if like we table talk just kind of articulated what exactly the next step is, because I just feel like that would be useful for my own brain right now.
I think it would be. I agree. I think it'd be good if you could do Rite of Respite too, since it's a new thing. If we're going to be doing some big, massive thing, to maybe go in totally fresh, but that's also just.
Also,
Yeah.
I want to throw out that once we get set up in a room, I can use one of my abilities. So any blood or mind stress we would take goes down a dice level. So that should help us out as well.
Sure.
So here's the thing: I can cancel out all the magic items and shit that Faisal might have, but it also would cancel out all the magic and stuff that we're using. So it would essentially even the playing ground to a purely like physical thing, unless Faisal's dropping some like mad high level shit.
You want to do your thing that cancels out magic?
It's an option. It's not
okay.
necessarily the best option, depending on if we
Yeah,
can.
because
Like,
we gotta
layer
talk because it
different
cancels
shit
out all of
better.
our magic too, right?
Only
Yeah.
stuff that's close by. So, for example, like I don't know how big the headquarters is, but like you could maybe use the Rite of Silver or whatever it is to block people from entering in like the parlor, and then we could have our big fight in the back room. And I would hope at least that if I used it in the back room, I could kind of prevent it from spreading up to the front.
And so this is like how does Elise define situation? Like, could our situation be like have reached its endpoint at us restraining him, and then next situation initiate with me starting the rite of conversion? Because Minrai's spell ends upon the end of the scene, and I need to divine magic to utilize my rite of conversion.
Yeah, so scene, I would say the scene of the fight and the scene of
Oh, it's a
doing-
scenario, I think.
Yeah, so we have scenario, situation, scene. That's kind of the levels.
Let me double check. It's something.
I thought you said situation. but-
Yes, you're right. Sorry, it's a situation. Yeah.
That's an interesting question. So
I mean, I could turn it off once we've subdued him, right? Like,
yeah, I think that it makes sense to say like once per situation you can do this, and then upon your choice to end it before the situation is over, that's fine with me. Just that you couldn't trigger it again within that situation.
Okay.
If we do go with that, I can still fight, but I will have no advances. Everything I have is divine because it's the gods I've trapped in my weapons and armor.
woo! Left my broiler on.
And a lot of my stuff's at default. So I also would be I would be able to use all my Vis stuff because that's just me being a bug. But I'll just be stabbing people with my bone spirits.
Ava,
Yeah,
did
I
you
mean-
hear what Andrew said about not being able to use any of his stuff? I didn't know if
No.
you had your headphones on when you stepped away or not.
No, I didn't. Sorry, they're not.
Oh, if you did your divine or your thingy and Andrew or Hennis was there, it would
He would lose all of his
he
advances.
would lose all of his advances because they're
So
all
I-
divine.
I can still fight. Like, it doesn't mean we can't do it,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
all of my
Well,
advances
I mean,
are
and
divine.
the question then becomes, obviously, I mean, Elise went out of her way last time to say that Lord Farquaad is a fucking badass. Like, I mean, I remember the description of that slaughter, and I remember a specific line that said, damn, like Lord Farquaad be going hard in the paint with this murder spree. So
Oh, that specific line.
That's what I
specific
said.
line.
Yes,
That's
that
exactly what you
that
said.
sounds like
Sorry,
what I,
I'm
how I
channeling the
speak
biggie. I
generally.
can't stop. You can't just turn it off, okay?
Mhm.
But yeah, so
So
I think that's we have to understand that the high elves are the end boss. I mean, other than like the gods and like shit, right? Like the high elves are supposed to be like totally like mega. I mean, and not all of them probably, but at least Farquaad seems to be able to like. I mean, like you could probably kill all of us in a fair fight.
like in a fair fight, as in not all 5-on-1, or
In a fair 5-on-1 fight, Lord Farquaad could most likely, I'm taking a guess, he could kill all of us. If we don't
does
tip
that
the
jive
scales in
does
our-
that jive with our knowledge of how actually strong high elves are? Because I thought like it was mostly like just a power thing and not like a physical strength thing that they hold over
Mhm.
us.
I think that you saw the aftermath of what Faisal and a few of his guards could do. You also recognize that, and you know, to in the table talking meta way that we're talking, to compare it to D&D, like not everybody in the world of Dungeons and Dragons is a fighter who levels up in fighter classes, right? Or is a, you know, paladin who levels up in paladin classes. Similar in Spire, not everybody has access to these types of abilities and things that you all, having dedicated yourselves to a life of, you know, the ministry, terrorism, more or less. Although
Vigilantism.
also that maybe freedom fighting. Freedom fighting is what I prefer, because let's be real. And you know, you've been intentionally picking up these tips or these tricks and things. Now, like, you know, if you were up, so the point being, were the people at the Herald Corporation on the level you all are, you doubt it, right? Like, they don't have access to these high advances, like where they can kill someone by pricking them with a needle and bullshit like that. But the slaughter there was cruel, heartless. You know from Kelvy, not necessarily planned, in the sense that Faisal didn't go in thinking, I will find a way to slaughter these people. But certainly to your kind of shocked, brief investigation, felt cold-blooded and executed easily. So no, do all high elves seem like they harbor some sort of great power that you fear because like they are more powerful than the drow innately? No. Did Faisal's display, from what you could tell of it, scare you into thinking that perhaps Faisal has power that you were unaware of? Yes.
So
we also know he's got hella magical items. Like, I mean, think about how many magic items we have.
He has a jacket that let him get a fork.
And he's got a dagger.
I mean, yeah, he's got a jacket,
and
fork,
so
and two daggers.
A silver sword.
Your ability, it suppresses magic items too, right?
Yeah, okay, so I'll read the full ability out in detail, and keep in mind that high level stuff would not get removed. So the spells of inferior casters and gods are caught in a web like flies. I have to roll a check, so that has, you know, that's a thing, right? But it's fight and occult, which I both have. And on a success, any effect that originates from a magical source, any, be that occult or divine, is suppressed while I am nearby until the end of the current situation. So suppressed, I imagine if it's a higher level spell, it might not be completely nullified, but it won't be effective, essentially, right?
Yeah, and so it seems like that doesn't mean that it just has to be a person casting a spell. It would be coming
like items
from any
any magical effect. And then minor magical effects are completely undone. So like a dagger that like makes rainbow trails when you slash at somebody would be no longer do that permanently, I would imagine. Like the magic is just undone from the weapon, like it's not there anymore. And then I become immune to all magical attacks, and that's all it has. It also says the DM is free to creatively interpret things. So
I mean, that sounds like I mean, based on all of this knowledge, I feel like if what our plan ends up becoming is just a straight out like, okay, we have to like incapacitate and restrain him, I feel like the 5 of us would be capable of doing that for the moments that it would take me to enter his mind and destroy it. My spell, my rite of conversion is something that it doesn't give a time for. It just says I enter their mind and completely destroy all of their attachments. And so, yeah. With that in mind, our plan, to my knowledge, is we're going to Harmonious Properties. Minrai is using her voodoo dolls to make Faisal come to us, to our home turf. I will have done the Rite of Silver to make it such that it's likely that only he will enter the building. Every other person that he has with him will have to perform will have to roll a d6 mind stress if they want to come in.
That's where it
probably
gets
make me
dicey.
super suspicious.
'Cause
Yeah,
yeah,
would
he'll
he
be
come
like,
in
"Oh,
if
no,
his
there's
if his
magic, I'm
retinue
out."
couldn't
No,
come?
it's anyone that I want to can come
Right,
in
right.
without doing this.
But would he come in if he noticed that none of his entourage would go in?
Yeah, that's one of those things
Would
that
he
I think
make the
it's
choice
better
to come
to
in?
seal us in, right? To not prevent new people from coming once we've got people inside.
Well, are we? I think the question there then is like, are we trying to kill box him? Because if we're just trying to let him in, then we're trying to do the, 5-on-1. We're trying to restrain and break his mind and send him off or whatever we're gonna do after. We can let his guards in if we're gonna try to do the, if we're gonna try to pull one over on him, which I think was the original plan.
Yeah.
Unless we're now going with the let's.
Here's the problem: the guards will know us, and there's no like secret basement to leave the building. Like the guards would just either, well, A, the guards would probably just enter and take the mind stress and come fight us, but B, like one of them would just run off and be like, here's a report. These people are responsible for blah, blah, blah. Harmonious Properties. Who owns Harmonious Properties? Oh, Kelby. Where does Kelby live? Oh, the Derelictus. Oh, Kelby lives in that apartment. Let's go burn it down and kill everyone. So we have to contain that, like that whole situation. Yeah. Everyone involved has to be contained. I still have half of those laxatives. Just throwing it out there. We can maybe take a couple. Like I don't know how many guards he's going to show up with.
That's the opposite of containment, actually.
Yeah.
But if we like let everybody in, lock the building, hand out tea during the meeting, and then you can use the silver thing. Does it keep people in as well? Like prevent people from leaving, or is it just exiting?
I think it's just to prevent people from entering something. I mean, what could happen, right? We're not having this meeting with Faisal in like the front area of Harmonious Properties. We would be in one of the larger office spaces.
Probably in Nez's office, yeah.
Yeah. So like I could do the Rite of Respite in just that one space.
God damn it, Elise. I see your face, your brain working over there.
So like, yeah, like feasibly we could have tea or whatever, like being handed out in the main, like Faisal would not want all of his guards with him to come back in to have this dealing with us anyway, because he probably wouldn't want them to be aware of the nitty gritty of his shitty life.
But
and again, it's like, how many guards is he going to show up with? Are there going to be like 20 people, or are there going to be like 5?
But if this goes off without a hitch, right? If this goes off without a hitch, and we have successfully converted him, the guards are going to be none the wiser.
No, but the guards, I mean, obviously they would know. There would be like a racket as we're like subduing a fighter. He's not going to go, we're not going to subdue him before he goes, ah.
If this goes off without a hitch, we don't need to convert him. Because the whole thing is, hey, I took care of the problem for you.
Yeah, Moonlight's dead.
Are we cool?
Yeah. So I think this is what we do, okay? And hear me out. Barnabas.
Well, that's my real question. What do I do here?
But you play a role here. You take a sip of one of our bloods, and you sit outside.
I could just stay fucking here.
All the guards come out. All right, come inside. You chain shut the exit and like block it up as best you can so they can't get out.
Okay.
We have drilled
So
a
we are
hole.
trying to kill them.
We've drilled a hole to the back of, in the back room. We've drilled like an escape hole, just through a wall. Like, okay,
Ava's,
guys,
This isn't the
Ava's
basement.
plan is
Listen,
always
listen,
to bust a
listen.
wall down Kool-Aid style.
bust the wall. Fuck that shit, right?
What
Queen
about
just comes
windows?
in.
What
Oh,
about a
yeah.
window?
So we bar them up.
What-
Okay, but listen, just hear me out. We meet with Faisal. They don't know the door is barred, okay? We meet with Faisal. All right, we hand out some tea, maybe. If the meeting goes well, cool. If the meeting goes badly, we send a signal to
Just put
Barnabas
whispers
using
on.
yeah, we use a signal. We use whispers. You finish locking up the door. If it goes well, we send you a whisper, and you just take everything down. But if it goes badly, you keep barricading it, and then you light it on fire. Okay, kill all the guards.
that
and
means-
then
Kill you too?
no, they're in the front room. They'll burn. Don't worry. And we'll fight Faisal in the back room. Then we capture him and we take him.
Guys, I think this has really gotten away from us.
It's not.
And
It's
they're
a great plan.
burning my business
I'm
to the ground.
actually for it.
It's a good contingency plan. Look, we trap the guards, burn them alive. Totally normal in Spire, right? That's cool. And then we take Faisal. And that's a plan for either capturing or killing, depending on what goes down. Because we can just leave him in there and burn the body and be like, oh no, Faisal died in a fire.
And harmonious properties,
And
which is
then
what
someone's
Kelvy
gonna go,
owns.
that might be screwy.
Well, I
then-
mean,
Kelvy
they go
literally
investigate.
is the head person there. I
Yes,
feel like
so-
they would go looking
Yeah.
for him.
what about the other place?
The Herald Corporation.
Yeah,
I'm
the
pretty
Herald.
sure he's also the head person there too.
Yeah.
It might be
Okay.
better there too if everybody else
Everybody's
is dead.
dead.
Then Kelvy.
Wait,
claims
Elise has
everything
something to say. Let
uninsured.
Elise say it. Elise, what?
It's worth pointing out that the last
Yes.
time you assumed Kelvy was the head of a corporation, he was in fact not. Just,
Yeah.
Kelvy will check his paperwork.
I'm not going to
Kelvy
say
has
what
harmonious
happened at
properties
Herald
insured.
Corporation
We're
because you don't
fine.
know.
But
Yeah.
I'm just
Okay.
saying, like,
But I want to say there's doing this quiet and trying not to,
Burn guards
do
alive?
a thing.
yes.
And there's going immediately like nuclear.
No. This
and
is the backup
building to
plan.
the ground.
The backup plan
you-
is we burn the building to the ground.
But that connects it immediately to me, whether or not anybody sees us go in.
What if
Right?
you're
Because
dead?
your building is that, we're going to want to tell him his building's burned to the ground. And then I have to bullshit my way out of, oh no, my building. And then, why are there a bunch of dead guards that were, employed by Faisal? Where is Faisal? Did Faisal die in the fire? Why was Faisal in your office? Like, these are all questions that might
Here's what
Okay,
I would imagine. If I forced Faisal to meet with you, he would not want to make it public that he's meeting with you. I mean, we are
Yeah.
blackmailing
Which
him.
makes it weird that he'd be dead somewhere where no one would expect him.
But the
It's not like
highs
he
are all
was out for a
about.
walk on the town and he walked into a building, it miraculously caught on fire and he died.
Well, that's
Like
what happened.
I don't know.
But
That's what
also
happens,
like
Winrai says.
who all realistically knows that Kelvy Telena / Mr. Moonlight owns harmonious properties, right? Like
But they could investigate
it
it. I
would
don't-
be everyone that would be dead there.
There might still be higher ups, we don't know, but maybe. Yeah.
But,
I mean,
then
what's her
you would
face
just
was
assume
shot.
the identity of the other. You could be Mr. Moonlight if it is Kelvy
But
that
we live in Kelvy's building. I feel like they would just come and burn
Here's-
us down.
Okay, no, we can again. There's the high elves are up to their own shit. It doesn't have to be about us small folks. We can leave a mask. Do y'all remember that one lady who is like not friends with Lord Farquaad?
You mean
Lady
Hennis's
Helena.
like
Wait, how
patron?
Helena. Yeah.
Are we gonna
So,
further
I know
implicate
Hennis doesn't
Lady
like
Helena?
this.
She just
We
straight up.
can leave
Wait,
a
who?
Helena mask with like
Do you
a
mean
note.
Hellion or is this a
Hellion.
different?
Yeah, Hellion.
We
Yeah.
can
Okay.
leave a Lady Hellion mask with like
Yeah,
a little
but
note that
Hennis
says,
is already real fucked.
that
No.
says like
The-
love
Having-
Lady Hellion,
having-
fuck you, Lord Farquaad.
If you
Sorry.
do
Having
that,
Hennis there to begin with is is a good thing because it's literally saying, okay, it could be, at least in the moment, of Kelby has hired someone who worked with your enemy. You can use him. Like, that's a further, hey, Faisal, this can work for you. You know, I've taken care of your enemy. I'm offering up someone who works for your enemy. Possibly as
So,
a
yeah,
whatever.
I think that if you could also maybe connect that I have like met Lord Moonlight, and that's why I knew where they were or whatever.
Right.
Because I was just supposed to be there to show you guys around. If I'm suddenly super involved in this, that would be sus.
Well, the
not if it's
the
all
idea
burned to the
was
ground.
I would have said, hey, Mr. Moonlight, Hennis wants to meet with you again because he wants to talk about the fights again. That gets him alone in a room with us, and you kill him then.
No, I can just use the doll.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the doll to bring in there. But
also, we should not leave a Hellion mask there. Because if we do, then there's two things tying back to our apartment. And one of them can read my mind to find out we did it.
But
we want this to be bloodless.
I feel like Lady
This
Helion
feels like actual. Wait, what
She would
is?
give a
Wait,
shit,
wait,
though.
hold on. I haven't said anything, so now I'm allowed to talk.
Yes.
What is the actual goal of any? So don't say it yet. What is the actual goal? Because y'all are like wild all over the map. Do you want to kill Farquaad? Do you want to convince him to be on your side somehow? Or do you want, like, what is the goal and how is this not going to be traced back to us? Because right now our goals seem very crazy and not together. And there is no way that things aren't being traced back to us in any of the scenarios so far.
So there's two goals. The first goal is to seal the cracks, which everyone has forgotten about. The second goal is to tie off the Lord Farquaad storyline. There are a few ways to do that.
So all we need to do is get him to think that Mr. Moonlight is dead, right? We don't need to fuck him up in any way.
That's our plan A.
We don't need to capture him or convince him or other thing, right?
That's our plan A. That's our plan A. I've always said
that was very confusing if it was, because I did not follow that you agreed with that at all.
I have agreed. That's why I told you that if it all goes well, you don't chain up the front and we just let him out like normal instead of burning down the building.
So I'm here with this. I agree to all of this. My fear was originally Minrai was saying that if Minrai got her hands on Farquaad, that was it.
Well, yeah, I mean, if it goes sideways and
and I was planning for that with that in mind.
My fear is when you plan for the sidewaysness to be like, oh, we'll just mass murder and do all these things. I fear we're just gonna jump into that anyway.
We're putting the kibosh on table talk.
Like a mass murdering
any
group.
Discussion that happens now happens in character, and time has ticked. We are now an hour into the day. It is 9 a.m. on Saturday.
I hope that all of you have brushed your teeth and washed your face. Great way to start the day.
I went ahead and I'm telling this to GM. I performed the rite of respite.
Okay. Who's getting rid of stress with that? Rick, I presume you're getting rid of 3
resistant stress.
How many is it? Do you roll or is it?
Hold on one sec.
3 from Mind or Blood. And yes, you can get rid of stuff that's on your resistances.
But not from reputation or anything.
No, Mind or Blood.
Okay. Thank you.
Mind
okay, I'm at 0 now.
The only one that I have is reputation, yeah.
I only have silver.
Feels bad.
It helped me.
Tarnished. All I'm saying
it was all worth it.
Did we determine that Rick gets the benefits of the rite of respite?
And I thought that I don't.
Oh.
I remember we talked about
the language it says is all allies present may restore 3 stress for mind or blood. Am I my own ally?
Yeah.
Or are you your own worst enemy?
Yeah, Yeah, I think in the past we've played it that you don't, that it doesn't say and self, right? And so therefore you don't get it. Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay.
So, all right, I guess we're heading up Spire, and now we're like the final plan, everyone. We're luring Faisal and however many guards he has to the harmonious properties. I prick myself and here I have a vial.
Let us
Take
all
some.
gather close, and I
are going to do some whispers.
Yeah, I lead. Who should I do this with? Because we're all going to be together,
We
aren't
can all do it. If you're all together, I think that you like. There's probably no echo. It's just that you hear it and you hear it. Like,
At least, is there an echo?
I mean,
I imagine it's instant.
Yeah, it's instant enough that it's happening at the same time. Yeah, so it's not
it'd
like
probably be good to do all of us.
Well,
Mhm.
okay.
Just a thought.
Shit. I think I take stress for each person.
Oh, gotcha.
It's mind stress, which I can vomit, which is cool beans.
Well, you could also say that you did it before Rick did the Rite of Respite. I don't know if Elise is that nice.
Oh, I get +1 mind for this. I never even marked that down.
Y'all,
Cool.
come on.
Okay, mark 1 stress, 2 mind per participant. Okay, so I'll give it to each of you.
Okay.
The tea ceremony is for what? Blood and...
The Rite of Respite, blood and mind.
So can I do this before the Rite of Respite? Like before I sip my tea?
Yes.
We know each other well enough
Okay,
that
so I
we.
take 6 mind stress, which actually is just 3 because I have resistance.
Okay, I am gonna
All
roll
right.
Fallout for that, and then you can take your Rite of Respite. So you have 3 stress right now that counts towards.
Yes.
You are fine.
Cool beans.
All right.
And then the Rite of Respite, how much do I restore?
3.
Oh, fuck. Perfect. Back to 0.
All right. So now we are making our way up to harmonious properties. We're going to have.
Did we?
Are we? Because
I
Barnabas
thought
feels
that-
uncomfortable going.
I thought that we were going to. What's the other one?
Herald Corporation?
Herald Corporation, where there were bodies that we could pick from for
Oh
unfortunate matron.
no! We want a fresh one. We don't want a face you might have seen earlier.
How do we get a?
I got it.
How do we get a fresh?
They would have had
Elfier?
masks on their faces.
Barnabas, you know, you need to think about it a little harder.
Are we going to
Elise
be
knows.
Well,
killing?
because everybody he killed was a drow, right? Or, like, I'm guessing there weren't Elfier in the retinue. I don't
Drows and
actually know.
humans? I'm guessing, right?
Drow,
Yeah.
Maybe some humans, no Elfir that,
Mhm.
no, none.
Oh boy.
They don't have to be in
It's gonna be a crazy day.
Was it Mr. Moonlight and Elfier?
He was supposed to be.
He could have been impersonating one, which is what we might be going with.
Okay.
Yeah, which is what we're planning, right?
Yep. That's it's also a cover up because it's like I'm going to tell nobody that this drow and/or human. I'm not
So
really
do
sure.
you
who we're
guys
gonna
want to
get.
head up to Herald Corporation and Sweet Pea and I'll find a body and we'll meet you there? Or
No, I got a body. I haven't gotten it yet, but it's gonna come to us. Like it's gonna be great.
you son of a bitch!
Oh, Barnabas,
Barnabas doesn't know that you can do it, so that was.
Oh,
Rachel
you're
and
gonna use
Barnabas's
man with
voice.
a gun! That's fucking so
Barnabas
much
still has
fun.
no idea that was you.
But what
Barnabas
if
just
it's
still
like a-
straight up
what if
thinks
it's
a
like a
dude came to
gutter-
shoot.
Toby just said if you think about it hard enough, you'll know. So I don't know if Barnabas put 2
I
together,
think a
but
gutter cannon's gonna show
He's
up with
known
a
for
gun.
his intellect.
Someone knocks on your
Okay.
door.
So
Wait,
I answer.
Barnabas. Okay.
Who answers?
Wait,
I was going to say I go to answer it.
is there like an eye like a
I'm the
people?
least involved with any of this shit, so I feel like I might be the safest person to answer
Yes.
the door.
yes.
Okay.
Nobody
Barnabas.
knows me.
Barnabas, you can open the door. That's fine. You open the door, and Amandu is there, and he's like, "Oh, hey, I was just on my way out, but I thought you might want to see that, and he points. There is a spider web above your, kind of by your door, Charlotte's Web style, but it just says Kelvy. This is Marguerite's manner of sending messages.
Nice. I love it.
I think that we
That you are
maybe need to go see Marguerite.
Yes, let us go together. Y'all can continue to talk about things and prepare yourself.
Do we really like? I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm always for the clutch.
You don't say no to Marguerite.
Do not say no.
It's worth noting that when Marguerite sends messages via spider, that means you're in deep shit. That's like your mother using your middle name when she hollers your name, right? Like as a child, like this is the.
This may be important information, and I know Kelby may be scared, but I will go with you. It will be fine.
No, you know what?
Come on, let's go,
Kelby,
Kelby. I'll start corralling you out the door.
Thank you, Armandu, and I shut the door in his face. Kelvin.
Ow! I was still standing there.
I'm gonna walk the web.
Kelvy, well, a man with a gun sounds great. You have no way of knowing what the shape
You don't
or
know
form
what it
of
is
this
either.
man is.
You don't know.
None of us know that he has this thing. He just says he can get about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You never told any of us that you could do it. Yep.
Rick, I need you to
Table.
Have I ever steered you wrong?
Elise said no more table talk.
Over, friend.
It's character avoidance time.
This time is over. Let us go to Marguerite. We can talk while we go. Come, Kelby, come with us. Hennis, help me take him downstairs. He has a meeting with Marguerite. Let us go.
Oh my god, there's so much audible dissonance right now that my brain is like on the fritz. Like three people talking at the same time, and I'm just like, I can't follow conversation. It's fine. Everything's fine.
If you want, it's Kelvy does. Tyler? Am I right that Kelvy does not want to go to see Marguerite? Is that what I'm?
Kelvy's a little skidded, but with enough of a push, I think.
I was going to say, okay, because I can also make Midnight roll compel to make you go or to convince you to go.
Yeah, no,
if that would be
still go because this is clearly an important thing. Like it's not hey Kelvy, come say hi before you leave. It's like you need to.
At the very least, maybe this will inform our decision a little more carefully.
Rick is also absolutely going to go.
Yeah, let's all go together.
Rick in this situation is Kelvy's safety blanket, so I'm really glad that Rick is going.
Yeah, because I mean, Rick is. My concern in this moment is that we need to get going, and I like whatever shits you might be in, Kelvy. It's as far as I'm concerned, I'll do whatever I can to just kind of gloss over it for right now.
It may be relevant. We should perhaps lend our ear patiently.
Minrai, go ahead and just roll a d10 for me. It won't impact stress or anything.
Ah, sweet, awesome, cool beans. Yep,
you know, Marguerite's not gonna listen to anybody. Minrai.
A 9.
Minrai, you notice spiders crawling through the cracks in the door into the apartment now. About 5 of them.
Privacy.
Y'all, it is urgent apparently. Let us go now, please. Now,
right,
let's go.
I'm gonna put some pep in my step and get on.
Let us walk out the door. I nod to the spiders and I'm like, we're on our way. Go tell her. God damn it.
I rapidly grab masks that I have because we might not want to be wearing them. So yeah.
Okay. All right. So Rick gathers the supplies, masks, things like that he thinks you might need for the day, and the troop of you make your way toward the basement, and that is where we're going to stop tonight.
No, I don't want to know what it was.
You spent 15 minutes talking out of character, so we'll stop here. I feel like a mean parent.
Say 3 words to us.
Can we at least get a picture of what is on Mother Marguerite's face?
Yeah,
what is expression?
I'll give you this. This is not what you asked for, but you walk down, you see the 2 Harmonious Properties guards carrying a third one out the door. They seem to be leaving, and you see a small crowd has gathered outside, very similar to the small crowd or much larger crowd the first day, that gathered outside to read the eviction notice on your very first morning in Spire, as players, not as obviously characters. Also seeming to look at something or be reading something that has been posted on the doors. And that is where we're ending
God damn it.
tonight.
This is because we forgot to seal the cracks.
Like
We didn't make it a priority, and now
No,
it's coming
this
back.
is because
No,
this is because we stopped Faisal. We stopped Faisal from wanting to build, but the Vis still wants this fucking building. So
You
it's
are-
obviously
you-
make that
Seal
shit.
the cracks.
You don't even know what the crowd is there for. So
Yeah.
it's
Whatever,
nice-
Elise.
But
Instead of
also,
speculating-
we literally structurally sealed the cracks. We have not this sealed them. So, like, as far as that's all concerned, we're clear.
No,
Okay.
it's not clear. Because
So,
all
alright,
that's why
am
they
I-
wanted the building
seriously,
structural.
do I have to boot you out of this goddamn call to close this stream? Children? All right. Friends,
Yeah.
thank you so much for tuning in to watch us argue more than play. And next week we will pick up with the crew in the lobby. Remember, you do have to exit the building, go to the other building, go downstairs to get to Marguerite. So you will have to go past this crowd that has gathered. And that is where we will pick up next Thursday. And I think that we're probably in the home stretch of this arc. I think I could see this wrapping up in 2 episodes, or episodes, I call them sessions. Assuming we don't spend 45 minutes bickering about the plan.
Sometimes that's what
I
role-playing
love.
is, and you know it.
It's a hard plan.
Sometimes a GM is very, very willing to let you table talk in ways that other GMs aren't. So let's just, okay. But anyway, I will take us down so that we can get out of here on time for people's schedules tonight. Great job tonight. I'm very, very much looking forward to next session. And we'll see you tomorrow for Tier, I hope, and next week for more Spire. Okay, bye everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.